Welcome, everybody. I appreciate your coming to our fourth board meeting. 3 days ago, we completed our 4th month in the board, and we'll talk about what we've done, what we need to do, problems that may need to be fixed. But first, I want to apologize for anybody we inconvenienced by canceling our meeting last Wednesday. We had some very important things that we wanted to review and propose, discuss, and vote on at the meeting, and we felt it important to have all our board meeting members there. And unfortunately, there was a last-minute emergency, and after talking to Eric, our community manager, felt we should just cancel the meeting and reschedule it. So here we are. Anyways, welcome. We'll get started. We need to establish a quorum. Right now, we have a quorum of board members, 2 board members, myself and Elizabeth Davis present. And the next on the agenda would be the reading of the March board meeting minutes. Was he coming? Oh, okay. We now have 3 board members. Full house. We're playing poker, that's a good hand. Have a seat. We just established a quorum with all our board members here. There's another chair over there. Good.
Okay, do you want to read minutes?
Yeah.
All right, the unapproved minutes of March 9th, 2016, Big Tree Board Meeting. March 9th, 2016 Board Meeting was held at the Williams YMCA at 7:15 p.m. The meeting was also videotaped by Carol Schapp. Is it Schapp?
Chap,
Schapp, yes.
like sap.
Schapp, okay. And it's currently available for viewing by Big Tree homeowners on Big Tree's new website. A quorum of board members present at the meeting with President and Treasurer Larry Kahn, Secretary Elizabeth Davis, and board member Lisa Waters in attendance. The meeting was also attended by Bob Woods and Eric Beer of the CAM team, Big Trees Association Management Company. February meeting minutes, Secretary Elizabeth Davis read the unapproved minutes of the February 17th board meeting, and they were subsequently voted on and approved by the board of directors. President's report. Board President Larry Kahn gave a report to homeowners updating homeowners on recent developments at Big Tree and activities of the board since the February 17th board meeting. The Treasurer's report, Mr. Kahn then reviewed that February 6, 2016 financial report for Big Tree, which was included in a handout package to homeowners. In summary, Mr. Kahn indicated that the Big Tree finances for both income and expenses look very good for the month of February, but that the board would be spending significantly more money for needing building maintenance and repairs in the next few months. Committee reports. Building Maintenance and Repair Committee, Lisa Waters gave a report on her evaluation of the maintenance and repair needs of each of the 40 buildings and her plans for repairs in the future. Landscaping, Elizabeth then gave a report on the status of the landscaping efforts at Big Tree and indicated that significant improvements and that our sorry? That's okay. Alright, that our landscaping company, High Profile Landscaping, was doing a good job. Infrastructure and Security Committee, Barbara Evers reported that the Infrastructure and Security Committee recently met and was looking at steps that could be taken to improve the conditions of Big Tree's infrastructure as well as the safety and security of our community. Budget and Financial Planning Committee, Bill Jasper reported that the Budget and Financial Planning Committee was working to develop a 5-year financial plan for Big Tree, which they would present to Big Tree homeowners in the next few months. Governing Documents Committee, Chester Brown then reported that Big Tree's Governing Documents Committee had recently met and were working to correct Big Tree's governing documents that were badly out of date, contained lots of errors and problems, and needed to be updated and better serve our Big Tree community and comply with Florida law. Social and Hospitality Committee, Pat Kahn reported that the board has formed a social and hospitality committee to organize some social events for homeowners and develop a welcome package and information for new Big Tree homeowners. She indicated that a bonfire event had been held on March 5th, and bingo and hot dog, hamburger roast, and other social events were being planned for the the near future. New business, President Larry Kahn indicated an official Town Homes of Big Tree website would offer numerous benefits to the homeowners of Big Tree and recommended we discuss and vote on it. ConnectTheNeighbors.com website that was recommended to him by Bob Woods of the CAM team. After some discussion with homeowners and board members, the board voted to approve the establishment of an official Town Homes of Big Tree website. Homeowner questions and discussions after an open question answer discussion period with homeowners on a number of other different topics. Mr. Khan moved to adjourn the March 9th board meeting at 8:30 p.m.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good. Now the President's report. I'd like to just start out and kind of frame things from the beginning. You know, during the election campaign, we talked about making Big Tree great again, and our early board meetings, we talked about a multi-year plan, which was laid out in pretty much detail in the March newsletter, which I hope everybody's read. If you haven't read it yet, it's online on Town Homes of Big Tree, www.townhomesofbigtree.com. I'd encourage everybody to log in, get your password, and we'll be using the website on an ongoing basis to keep us informed of what's going on. The bottom line, we recognize that there was an awful lot to be done looking at every area. We indicated that building maintenance and pre-repair was going to be a very high priority, but was going to be a longer-term process. We looked at 2 full years for completing the repairs on all of our buildings and focusing on the 3rd year to focus on infrastructure improvements and changes. Now, before we came up with that time frame, we did a lot of discussion, a lot of crunching the numbers, and a lot of looking hard at a plan, and I'm convinced that we're definitely going to be able to do that plan and accomplish our goal if we stay on a well thought out, financially planned path with the committees that we establish, so that we're online with the finances that we have. It fits into the budget plan that we have. We're prioritizing work on a worst first basis. We're being fair to everybody. We're making it transparent to everybody, so everybody knows exactly what's going on. And I think we're going to talk about some improvements that need to be made in those areas and make some specific proposals. The Budget and Finance Committee has been discussing these issues for the last several weeks, and we have some specific proposals which I think are going to be a tremendous help to the board in helping us better manage the process. So bottom line, we achieve the goal that we promised. And number 2, we do it in the right way, that we're fair to everybody, we're transparent, and there's a sound process that's followed, and it's done financially soundly. We don't put the community at risk. So kind of where we're going. We've done an awful lot of things. I don't want to spend a lot of time. I'm sure you've seen a lot of work going on in improving our buildings, seeing the communities improve stuff, painting, fixing on a lot of different areas. I'd like to just highlight a couple items. Again, every homeowner will have an opportunity to ask questions on anything, make any suggestions or comments in the question and answer period. We do appreciate your input and suggestions on those items. But again, we do have some homeowners that feel their homes should be fixed like right today. And I'd love to have my house fixed today. It's got wood rot on it.
10 years ago.
Yeah, well, that'd be good too. We have bad gutters and sidewalk problems, coquina problems, and whatever. But again, it's not the worst building by any stretch at Big Tree, and I know it's not going to be done for a year or so. And I think that all of us need to recognize that and work with the board, and we'll try to do a much better job in outlining exactly what buildings we're repairing, how it's being done, and answering your questions, having prompter responses to your work orders. Louis Lera from our Budget and Finance Committee has developed a process which I think is outstanding, and we'll be presenting that in a little more detail when we get into the new business section. So Lisa will talk about it in some detail. The newsletter, obviously, as of last month, talks about the buildings that we re-roofed, and we've stopped doing patchwork. When we do a building, we're doing our best to really do it top notch, do it right. Have it painted, have it sealed, have floors put up right, have the roof done right, have it all inspected, gutters properly done, and if it's properly maintained, it's not something we're going to have to do for another 20 years or so. So our focus is, again, to do top quality work and to schedule it in an appropriate manner. And Lisa will provide an update on what she's been doing recently, and we'll talk about our plans for reviewing what we feel are top priorities in the near future and scheduling that work. Your board has also worked with the CAM team and our board attorneys. We had a bad debt problem, which we've made substantial improvements. We've cut it down 50% now, so saving us $25,000, which we can now use to help improve our buildings and improve the communities, and we're working to get it even better than that. But we're told by any average standard that we're actually doing very well right now, and I think our community, obviously we've had some recent sales in our community. The prices have been going up because people are seeing the community looking a lot nicer and a lot more positive. We have some homes under contract right at the moment, and so again, one of our goals obviously is to raise the quality of the community in every aspect, increase our property values, which is going to positively affect all of our homeowners, and just make it a great place to live. We've done a lot in landscaping and grounds to improve the look of the community. Elizabeth is working very hard at painting signs and cleaning up and improving the landscaping, and there's more to be done, and we will continue on that process. Just a few weeks ago, we installed some FDOT state and government-approved speed limit signs and caution signs, which will be there for a long, long time. And the police will now be able to come in and actually cruise our community, which I think is something that's very positive, increase our security. So it's something we badly needed. It wasn't that expensive. We installed it ourselves. And anyways, so we've improved the swimming pool, put in heavier duty safety lines, floats. We put in a grill here. We fixed the gate and at the pool, and we got plans to actually pressure wash and clean all the dirt around here, so it really, really looks good. So we talked about social events. We will be having a hamburger and hot dog cookout on Saturday, June 11th, so mark your calendars if you're available. We'd love to have you. 11 o'clock to, I believe, 3 p.m. With some games. We previously had a bonfire night over here. We had a games night. We recently fixed our non-working street lights, which I think were badly in need. They were out too long, and that's a safety issue as well. We've had Busher's tree surgeons come out for 2 full days. Prior to coming out, they spent 2 full afternoons walking the entire community, looking at every home, looking at every tree, and evaluating exactly what limbs were dead, might fall, would pose a danger to falling on a home, falling on someone's car, or hurting someone. We removed a few dead trees, and after 2 days of doing that, they scheduled a time and came in with a big lift, and obviously, if you look around, they've removed a tremendous amount of hazardous bad and dead limbs and things like that. And that's something with the number of trees in our community we frankly need to stay on a regular basis. I know there have been a few limbs that have fallen and dinged people's cars or the porch or whatever, but we'll do our best to keep that under control. Our Documents Committee has been working hard at drafting our, reviewing and drafting our documents, which are really the roadmap and the legal basis for what we are to do in our community. And unfortunately, they as Chester covered before, they go back 36 years. They were written by the developer of Big Tree while the community was being developed. So most of it doesn't, a lot of it doesn't even speak about the community. It's more about what the developer's rights are. And there's a lot of areas that are questions aren't, information is not posed, or it's very, very vague and unclear, and it's been interpreted in different ways at different times, and it creates a lot of problems. So we really need a clear set of documents that everybody really understands the respective responsibilities of the board and how we operate, what the homeowner's responsibilities are, and homeowners will be involved in the process. There will be no surprises. As we complete our review, we'll be submitting drafts and information to the homeowners for review, answering your questions, and discussing it before we get to a point where we actually want to move to vote on it. But I think that would be a positive. Again, looking at a long-term basis, you really have to have a sound document that's governing your activities that everybody understands if you're going to have effective community. At our last board meeting, as Elizabeth said, we voted to approve an official Big Tree website, which is now up and running. As I said, at townhomesofbigtree.com. It's pretty inexpensive. It costs us $50, and it'll cost us $35 a month. And bottom line, it's going to save us a lot of money. It costs us $160 to send out a single letter. It costs us $500 to $600 to send out a newsletter. That pays for well over a year, and it's going to be a huge improvement in communications. We can now, once everybody gets signed up, we can send out email blasts to keep you informed immediately on what's going on, what issues. You'll be able to immediately link to Cam's website to pay your dues. We'll have videos of our board meetings, copy of the governing documents, our newsletter on there, our activities, photos and information about our community, a directory to look up other homeowners at Big Tree, a classified ad section. If you are interested in buying or selling anything or along those lines, it's available. It is still a work in progress. It's got tremendous capabilities. The problem has been the time we need to involve in getting it up to the level that we'd like it to be. It is functioning. There's a lot of great information, but it's going to get better and better as we continue to work with it. Our future goals, obviously, are to follow through on our plan. We've done a tremendous amount of work in the first 4 months, and most recently we spent a tremendous amount of money. And we'll kind of break that down. I'll be doing a treasurer's report in just a minute to look at that. And I guess we're at that point. So that's a quick overview of, I think we've made great progress, but again, we got a long way to go. We're 4 months into a 2 to 3 year plan. It's not something that we can try to do next month or 6 months, or we're going to all end up in bankruptcy, and it will not be a pretty picture. So we have to have a sound financial plan, and we have to do it right. If you flip to the second and third page of your handout there, it talks about the March financials, and I'll run through them quickly. And our March income was $38,814, which is pretty much in line with what it's been. Actually, it's been going up as we've reduced the bad debt. That's no longer as much of a drain, and again, we're getting some units that have been vacant now sold and occupied with no homeowners, so that's going to be a big help. Our total expenditures were $81,105, which obviously means we spent more than twice as much as we took in during the month of March, which is obviously not a sustainable way to manage your money on a long-term basis. When we break that down, we look at general and administrative expenses. Our budget for that category, the first section there, was budget of $10,038 for all the administrative activities. Actual expenses were $8,748, which is very good. That's $1,290 under budget, so we're right on line there. Our utilities at the bottom were pretty much on line. We were $37.20 over in our electrical bill, but again, I don't think that's too bad. Using more electricity during the summer. Building and grounds areas where we spent a huge amount of money in the month of March, and again, we don't have the April figures yet, but you know, we're concerned about how that will impact us. It's also drawn down, if you flip to page 3, our operating account from about 145,000 to 94,167. The only reserve Big Tree has is $5,190 and a petty cash fund of $500. So, in the building maintenance and grounds, our budget for March was $24,238, and obviously we knew we were going to exceed that. I said that at our last meeting. We obviously knew that we had much more work to do, and we're going to have to draw down to some extent during the first couple months. Our expenses were $73,355, which is almost 3 times the budget. So again, that's something that we've accomplished an awful lot, but we're going to have to look at some processes to do a couple things, and that's to make sure that our expenditures are evaluated a little more carefully, so that we ensure we're doing the highest priority work first. So our Budget and Finance Committee is going to review that. You're also going to be reviewing that in terms of our long-term financial plan, so we don't get ahead of ourselves. And they're going to review all the proposed work and work orders and submit the recommendations to the board committee, which will then vote on the proposal as to whether it should be accepted or not, which will be done at an open board meeting, so everybody's involved. But I'm very, very confident that if we manage our progress in the future well, and again, we appreciate any suggestions and input. There's a whole lot of things to do in a lot of areas around the community yet. Well, we can't do it all at one time. We're not Houdinis, but again, we continue to make steady progress in improving every area and managing things well. We definitely are going to achieve our plan, and Big Tree is going to be an awesome, great community. So, that's pretty much our finances. I think our community manager's report is next.
Actually, Larry's already covered everything in my report.
Yes. Okay. Well, in the new business area, again, there are basically 3 things that we've discussed, evaluated, looked at, crunched the numbers, looked at work projects and things that we felt needed to be done. And Lewis proposed a work order process as the first priority. I'm going to let him explain the process. He's developed a little chart on it, and again, it's going to be a big help to homeowners as well, because it's going to allow a more thorough review of your work problems and needs, and prompter answers, so you'll definitely get a response. Questions?
Yeah, I got a question. Bonnie Gelman is 91 years old. She's called Cam 3 times about the security lights on her building, this side and the front side. There's nothing been done. She's 91, she walks her dog, she can't see at night.
Okay, we'll get to those issues during the question and answer. A lot of people have those kind of issues and questions.
She's
And I wish
called 3 times though.
I understand that.
Done nothing.
We'll deal with those. The second thing we're proposing is a formal review and approval plan for all the work that's to be done. So all the work that's proposed in the plan is going to be, we're proposing it to be submitted to the Budget and Finance Committee to evaluate the effect on finances. We'll be reviewing exactly the highest priority work, and they'll be submitting a proposal, formal proposal to the board, which we will then vote on and approve approved by the board, which is, again, the way the board is supposed to work, obviously. Okay, lastly, last thing is, was actually Bill Jasper's plan. We talked about different ways to do it, and that's basically, even in the campaign, we promised, pledged that we'd be transparent. We'd let everybody know what was going on, and there's been a lot going on, and I don't think we've really done as good a job as we need to in that area. And so, we've talked about it, and Bill actually put together a chart that we're looking at following that's going to dramatically improve the transparency of all our maintenance and repair work, which is actually going to show all the different work that's going to be proposed in a format that everybody will be able to see exactly what's being done now, what's planned in the future, what's planned for your building. It's going to be posted on the website, so it will be accessible to everybody to see. And of course, we'll do our best to make sure you get answers as to exactly why those decisions are made to the best of our ability. So from that, I'll turn it over to Louis for a few minutes, and he can discuss in a little more detail.
Thank you, Larry. My name is Luis Lara. I am a volunteer homeowner here. And I'm working with several individuals that are homeowners and volunteers as well on the documents committee with Chester and Katie. And I'm also working on the budget and finance committee with Bill Jasper and Larry. And some of the things that became evident to me as a new homeowner here at Big Tree is that this is like a three-legged milk stool. You've got the CAM on one end, you've got the board members on one end, and you've got the community. And you saw one of those legs off, you're not going to be sitting very long. And as it relates to the work order process, that process is missing a lot of elements. One of them is stabilizing the leg. So I put together a workflow process that starts with the initiator of the work order, which is the community member, the homeowner. And this process is designed to flow through and follow that work order all the way through from beginning to end and assign the accountability to whoever's holding it. There's a lot of handoffs that are happening here. Right? The homeowner will create the work order. The work orders get sent to the CAM. And if you have photos, you would attach the photos to that work order detailing what your problem is. And then the CAM would acknowledge immediately to the homeowner, I've received your work order. In the past, you may not have seen an acknowledgement. Right? I know that's happened to me. Once that's acknowledged, the CAM will then take that request, assign a work order number to it, and then put it into their database so that they can track that work order. So then that work order gets forwarded onto the board of directors for assignment and verification. So that work order now, whether it's something to do with the grounds or something to do with maintenance, will be handed over to either Liz or Lisa to look at. And one of the jobs they'll have as part of the committee leads will be to verify that indeed there is a major problem, categorize it, and prioritize it to the remaining work orders that are in the system for the community. Because obviously some are going to be more urgent than others. So you have to make that evaluation. Somebody's going to look at it, stamp it, and then put it back in the system. Then the committee lead will confirm the repair, the work order, and advises the CAM to schedule or defer. Now, the options for defer would be to work to determine if it's in your budget, can it be done, or do we have to push it out? But obviously pushing it out 2 or 3 years is not acceptable. All right, so as part of that next step, then the CAM would solicit, and this would be a major work, the CAM would be advised to go ahead and schedule the work, but it would be based on a solicitation of 3 bids that will go out. The CAM will go out and get those 3 bids, take those 3 bids, bring them back to the board of directors for a down select. And sometimes the cheapest is not the best. So you have to look at what work are they going to be doing? Are they within the statement of work? Are they going to follow the scope? And then the board will make that determination and then pick one of the three, send it back to the CAM, so that the CAM can then, well, once they do their down select, the CAM will receive the down select from the board. And then the CAM would email that status back to the homeowner. It says, we've gone through the process, we've got the three bids, we've down selected to a contractor, and this is when they're going to start the work. So the CAM will then go out and ask the contractor to go ahead and schedule, and there'll be a series of closing documents that they're going to have to provide as part of the statement of work. As a result, when they've done roofs in the past year, a lot of the contracts didn't have any wind mitigation forms that we all need for the insurance company. So this is a checkpoint that says, I need that wind mitigation form and I need it when you close out that work. Right? So just continuing on for a moment. The contractor will then provide the repairs and the completed documents.
Wind mitigation forms?
Can we hold down the side questions for a minute?
Okay, sure.
I'm going to get through this.
Okay.
Do the side sessions. Okay. The contractor will then provide the repair and the documents at completion of the work to the CAM. The CAM then contacts the committee lead, who then goes and verifies the work. And in the case of the maintenance, you do the verification. In the case of the ground, yes, they did what we contracted them to do. Then from the board of directors standpoint, you get back to the CAM, and you will tell the CAM, okay, they did their work, that's fine. So the contractor then initiates an invoice for payment. All right, the CAM then gets the invoice and forwards it on to the board of directors. The board of directors will then match the invoice to the original contract and say, okay, we'll pay. So then the board of directors approves the payment, the CAM pays the contractor, work order is closed. Very simple, 13 steps, I love that number, 13 steps going through, and there's accountability along the way. And there's, more importantly, there's informational feedback loops back to the homeowner who initiated the request for the work order in the first place. So
Again, there's also going to be a process where homeowners are going to be able to track the work that we're doing, the work that's planned. So you can look at your individual building, you can look when roofing work's going to be done or has been done, siding, et cetera, all classified and laid out clearly for everybody to see with the schedule. Now, obviously, priorities sometimes can change, and emergencies come up, and the schedule may have to be adjusted, but we'll focus on keeping everything up to date. Same thing with the work orders. That'll all be computerized, and the information is going to be readily available, so we know exactly what building, what homeowner, what type of work, what date was submitted, what the follow-up status is.
So anyway, that's the recommended process that the Finance and Budget Committee came up with to make a recommendation to the board so that you can have a communication loop between the homeowner who's originating the work order, the CAM, and the board of directors. And the objective here is to close these work orders out that are currently open, that's the CAM, for a listing of 2015, 2016 work orders that were open, so that we can take a look at what has the homeowner submitted to date. You know, has their work order been addressed? Has it not been addressed? Why hasn't it been addressed? So that's the next step in what the committee's doing and what I'm doing with Bill Jasper as well. And from the budget standpoint, this process has a tremendous impact on where the money goes. Yes, sir.
I follow everything you're saying. You're telling me that CAM, these folks are gonna go out and get 3 bids, correct? They know who they're talking to. You know who the contractors are, am I correct? And know their capability 90% of the time?
I don't understand your question, sir.
When you go out and get bids for a job, do you know the contractor you're calling, or you just pull it out of a hat?
No, I don't pull it out of it.
So you have certain contractors,
Correct.
and you know what they're capable of.
Correct.
Okay, so why is the board which I don't think anybody in that board knows those contractors, but yet they're making the decision on which contractor comes in here when they know the contractor better than they do.
Well,
And he's better suited to pick the contractor, not the board.
here's the deal. The board puts together a statement of work in the verification of what they see. They don't come out and look at what the problem is. The board looks at the,
I understand
Let me
all
answer
that.
your question, you posed the question. Now, the fact of the matter is you put together what's called a statement of work.
Right.
Okay, now that statement of work has a line item. You will do this, you will do this,
I know all about
and there's a price associated with it.
I did it for 22
That
years.
goes out, okay, that goes out to 3 vendors or contractors.
Correct.
They bid on it,
Right.
and the board has to approve it because it doesn't make sense for the CAM to go out.
That's not what you
Let
said.
me finish. It doesn't make sense for the CAM to go out and place a contract on someone when they have no visibility. Let me finish. They have no visibility on what our budget is. Do we have money in the budget to do that?
I'm not arguing that point.
Okay.
But what you're saying, he's getting 3 contractors, they're gonna give him out a bid. But they can even give him the BOM if they want, for all I care. Line item, everything else, labor, costs, materials, everything else. Granted, so one's 2,000, one's 2,500, the next one's 5,000. Cam knows those contractors, what they're capable of. These folks don't. So, you're gonna get all 3 of those bids. I know they're gonna look at the budget, I understand that. But they don't know what this contract is capable of. You can have this guy saying this, says he can do
And
it.
that could very well assign whatever contractor the CAM recommends. They'll make their recommendation.
That's what I'm saying, but you never mentioned that because they know that contractor better than these folks do.
But Glenn,
Eventually-
also, we could do the same thing. We could pick 3 contractors and not know them either.
Well, but he knows his contract. Like, he knows his contract.
That's why the
That's
bid and
why he
proposal,
needs to be the one.
that's why the bid and proposal process is at the CAM level, and it's not
Not
at the
them,
board level.
him.
Excuse me,
Exactly, him.
Okay?
Louis,
Yes,
what is the CAM's percentage? What are they gonna make off this deal? Because it's gonna cost us more money if you do it this way, because we're gonna have to pay CAM, correct?
there is a line item in their current contract that says that they would do that bid and proposal.
Part of our, it's already
So it's
included in
in
our
our
contract with
contract
current
So it's
fees.
not gonna cost us any
No.
extra for
No.
CAM to do this?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I thought there was some kind of a percentage
No.
No,
on
no, that's
the
already
price
part
of the job or something?
No.
in their statement of work with the Big
Okay.
Tree Board of Directors and homeowners, that process,
That's included?
they go out and do that work.
Okay. Okay, great.
I have a follow-up question to that.
Yes,
At what price level do we seek the 3 bids? Like, when I worked for the city, it was like $3 grand, you know, anything before that, you just chose contractor and did it. So at what price level are we seeking 3 bids?
Well, you go from your prior contractor, whoever's done the best.
That's not what I'm asking.
no, no,
Okay, well, you
what's
asked-
the monetary goal line?
Right.
Is it $1,000?
Monetary goal, I was gonna
Is
get at
it
that.
$5,000?
Go ahead.
Then I think the board needs to answer that question.
We'll have to discuss and come up with an answer. I mean, everything needs to be approved by the board over $500, number one. Whether we have to go out and get 3 bids on everything at that low a number.
Yeah, that's too low of a number
Might
to
not
be
be
bothered
practical.
with, in my opinion. I don't know how Pam feels about that, but
Yeah, I think that,
$500 is awfully,
yeah, I think there has to be a degree of reasonable evaluation that happens that says, you know, if you got $100, you're not gonna go out and get a
Correct.
bid. You know, it doesn't make
Follow-up question. Are we gonna do the same thing with the tree service? Are we gonna start
This
getting tree
process
estimates?
applies to whether you're
everything.
doing the agricultural portion,
To everything.
the maintenance, everything. The footprint is still the same.
Okay,
The work order is initiated, it gets logged into the system, the homeowner's notified. The process, if it has to go out for 3 bids, you take it out for 3 bids. If not, then you contract someone, because you're gonna have emergencies, you're gonna have water problems, you're gonna have electrical problems. You're not gonna go through a bid process for that, you're gonna go take.
The big advantage is it's a formal process that we're gonna have, we're gonna be carefully looking at. We're gonna look at the budget impact, we're gonna look at the work priority, we're gonna look at the bid process, and it's not something that we're just, you know, making off the top of our head with no one reviewing or discussing it or evaluating it. So I think the informal work process is going to add an awful lot in terms of making wise decisions and keeping in line with our budget. Larry?
Who is going to make the decision on what is a priority? For instance, you have a big leak running down your chimney on the side of it. A lot of us out here have had it. I call Cam and say, I got a leak that's coming down through my upstairs bedroom, down into the living room. Who is going to make the priority on when that's going to be done?
Well, it'll be reviewed by Budget and Finance.
Hey, by then, you're gonna have to put in a new wall.
Well,
I just,
no.
I just trying to get that
If it's
straight.
that kind of a leak, we classify that as an emergency. Those things will get fixed like right away. We're not gonna fool around with leaks. Anybody who's got water coming into their home from outside, that is classified as an emergency and something we want fixed immediately. It's not gonna be put on the back
It's not
burner.
going to be put on hold.
Because you're right, that causes more damage down the
That's
road.
right.
And it needs to be fixed.
Well, see, when that happened to my house, when my mother owned it, we had to use our homeowner's insurance. She called, I'm not sure if it was Cam or Jackson, but they wouldn't do nothing for her when she
We
lived there.
didn't have Cam
We
then.
didn't have them. All right. Now, I got one more
Mother was
question.
mistreated.
We had 2 incidents in this neighborhood, I think at Christmas time and at my house. And I tried to contact, I think it was Florida State Company and before Cam. It was like Cam, then it was another.
First Coast.
Well, I got in touch with them about the security cameras, you know, the one incident with a guy, crazy guy in the car at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then the second incident where somebody came in the neighborhood and stole my mother-in-law's car out of the car. I called on the security cameras. You say we're paying for security cameras, right? Nobody had the code.
Why don't we, we're getting way off track here on the subject. I think we need
Well,
to
let me just
focus on.
close up with.
We can deal with those issues and question and answer.
Let me just close up this work order process, and, that's something as a new homeowner, I saw was lacking. The guy submitted a request for work orders and the work to be done, and it just fell off the table. I mean, and down into a black hole. And I can only imagine how much you folks have been waiting with years of being here. So that process is needed. We're recommending it to the board, and the board has to adopt it.
As president of the
Thank you
board,
for your time.
I'd encourage, if you have any other questions or whatever, I'm convinced it's going to be a huge benefit to the board because we're going to be able to manage our business plan more effectively. We're going to be able to manage our finances more effectively. We're going to provide quicker responses and more visibility, transparency for homeowners. You'll be able to track work orders. You'll be able to track plans for the future on your building, and it'll cover every building and every unit in the whole, in all of Big Tree, and it's going to be available for you to review. And if you've got questions, right now it's, everything's pretty vague. So again, I think it's a very, very positive thing for the community, a very, very positive thing for the homeowners. That's my view.
Why don't we all look at this procedure, and if we find that we have a problem with it, make some comment and recommendation directed at improving that procedure.
It's a process we need to get started right away. We can fine tune it and we'll provide
Well,
details.
that
of
doesn't
it.
mean it
We're not
can't.
going to go, wait until next month to talk
That
about it
doesn't
again.
mean that the procedure can't evolve. We
Yeah,
can
all
start
kinds
using
of
it,
procedures.
and it can evolve.
Bottom line,
You see what, I just want to get over a mentality here that, we present a problem, then somebody shoots down a problem, and then we sit there and we don't get anything going. So we've got to start here, and let's start with it. And then if people want to criticize it, start making constructive criticism.
well, that's what we want to do.
Instead of, okay, I found a hole, forget that whole thing, See, we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater here a lot of times when in our reasoning.
I don't understand what you're saying there, Chester. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, it does make sense to you. Okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, we got a process
I
that-
spoke one comment
we got a
too
process-
much.
we
You're
got-
shooting it down, and then that gets rid of my idea, huh, Larry?
He's not shooting it down, Chester, he's just trying to tell you.
Do you
they're gonna
agree that
start
we
the
should involve
process.
this
We're gonna start the
No,
process,
let's start
we'll
it.
evaluate it, but bottom line, it's a
Okay.
a careful review, a vote by the board, visibility for homeowners, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
We can argue about which kind of form is better, or which kind, where it should be
Yeah, it should go
posted,
along.
or,
Right.
you know, those detailed
Get it
things.
done.
But we need to have a process where we better manage our
Right.
finances and we more effectively manage our budget, our building plans, and we make it available for everybody to know what's going on, pure and simple. So I propose that we vote to accept it, and we will present more details at upcoming meetings on how it's carried forward.
The membership doesn't vote.
No, I know.
Just the board.
Okay, voted be approved, we will follow through and fine tune the process.
You asked for the nays. You only had
Your vote
four
doesn't
hands.
matter.
Doesn't matter.
There's only one day left, or one that hasn't voted, so that resolved that. As far as our committee reports, Lisa, do you like to talk about anything in building maintenance?
Well, last couple of months, we've gotten a lot of work done. You can probably see on this map all the little colored circles and squares and everything else. And take a good look. But these are all
Come over
buildings
again. I didn't get that good. Do it again, please.
right here.
Perfect. Good.
So all of these things these are things that I have had carpenters, painters, working on this for the last 3 months. We've gotten over 15 buildings have been renovated, 3 entirely, siding, painting, coquina, sealed, clean. So I feel pretty good about, the amount of work that we've accomplished in the last 3 months, although there's a lot of work out there that still has not been done. And I know that people who are living in those buildings that we haven't been to are saying, when are they going to get to my building? I wish that we had enough money that I could have hammers swinging every day on every building in here until it's just done. But the reality is, the prior boards in here spent close to $3 million in the last
Come on,
7
we're not
years.
gonna go there.
Come on.
We
know it.
We pledged to homeowners, we were not gonna blame anybody from the past. We're gonna look for positive
Not
solutions
blaming.
in the future.
Not blaming.
You are. Yeah, you are.
Yes, you are. Where'd you get
What
that
I'm
info?
Talk
stating
about
is
the future.
a fact.
Talk about the future. You don't know
Your
that.
money has
You haven't
been
been here long
spent, and look at the condition of the buildings. The buildings are in horrible, horrible shape. They opened up building 1 today. I had to get on the phone to call, scrambling around to call the termite pest control company. We supposedly have a termite bond. When you have a termite bond, the pest control company is supposed to pay for that damage. There's enormous termite damage in building 1. Why? Because no work order requests, those kinds of things have been totally ignored for years. Years, people. And with the kind of money that was spent over the last 7 to 10 years, I could have
We're
done every
looking at
building in
moving
here
forward,
10
not
times.
back.
Sit down, huh?
Stop yelling, please.
So,
We talk most of the time, can we just listen? Can we have the
Well,
opportunity to listen?
We don't have to hear a history. We know what the history is.
What is the history?
How did you learn about the history? What source did
and
you
Miss
have?
Shat, I'd like
Carol is the name, not Miss Shack.
Okay, Carol, I have a question for you. You
Yeah.
have a website,
Yeah.
and a couple of weeks ago, or several days, however, you went on your website to put out there in public your opinion about me.
That's
and
right.
You've never had even a conversation
I
with me.
observe. I'm an artist. I observe magnificently.
Right, okay.
That's my answer.
Well, Lisa, you
Well,
Take it or
you know,
leave it.
When people,
You haven't listened
And if
to
you
my-
don't like it, get your own website.
Well,
it doesn't matter how long you've lived here. People, everyone who lives here, whether they lived here a half a second or 20 years, deserves to have their building or their work order request answered.
We agree.
We know
It took
that.
me 45 days.
Excuse me?
It took me 45 days to get my email answered, and it was there.
Took me
Said it
4.5
was
years.
Friday,
Hey, guess what, Larry? I had to file a damn lawsuit, okay? Because Chuck said to me, I'm gonna keep you tied up in court for 5 years. I'll never fix your building. Well, guess what? Within 5 months, I got my
Bottom
building.
line, right from the beginning, the point of the board was, we're moving forward.
That's right.
Granted, we got challenges. Let's look at positive, productive solutions. Let's look at way we can solve the problems and move forward. It makes no sense, it accomplishes nothing to try to blame anybody for the past. That's, so we want to move forward.
I just have a question. So the new way of placing work orders, when will that be in place? So that, when will the board vote on it? When will it be in place?
Well, immediately, the process.
Just let me finish, okay? Because I'm not complaining, we've been here 14 years and they've done no work on our place. Okay, moving forward, I just want to know when it is I can place my work order and have some movement on it. That's it. So if you could just let us know when you'll vote and you'll get that so we can use it.
We have to put things in perspective. If you go back to what I said, if we can afford it, we can only afford to do very high priority work right now. Again, I talked about my own building. I'd love to have it fixed, but it's not going to happen for another year or so. We don't have
You
the
don't
money.
even know what her work order is. Let her at least give her
Well,
the information she's just asked for.
We will.
The thing is that every time we ask for it, we get blown off. And that's the thing.
That's what we're trying to
not-
solve.
And you're blowing her off again.
So that's
Answer.
This is starting to sound like the anti-Trump crowd.
Okay, hold on, please.
She has a valid point.
She lives in building 33.
And her
which is
mother's
next to
blind in a
building
wheelchair.
32, and it's
Answer.
in horrible shape. Horrible, horrible shape. The building has a structural problem in that it was built wrong to begin with, but not only that, the siding, the chimneys, everything, there's so much wood rot over there, and it's not going to be surprising whatsoever when I go over there to address the wood rot that we're going to find extensive termite damage.
It doesn't do you any good to talk about your building, Larry, when she's got a blind mother in a wheelchair.
We heard you.
And she needs help.
I'm not.
So, I want to try to answer Lynn's question, even though she's not here. The entire annual budget for a year in here is about $400,000. Let's round the number up. So, this year, apparently, I have about half of that to work with. I've already probably spent maybe half of that on the work that I've done so far.
Everything was great.
But, and that's really, to really put it in perspective, I've accomplished a lot with the little money that I've had to work with. But there's such extensive damage to the wood, and that's a slower process. That's the kind of thing that may take several days to rectify on one building. And naturally, it costs more money. So some of these things some of the buildings in a wood rot condition, it's going to take next year before we can get there with our monies. But we have to get there because they can't be neglected any longer. Almost an entire wall on building 2 had to be rebuilt from the way the chimneys are constructed on the buildings. Water had leaked down all the way through the wall. They had to replace the plywood. The 2x6 was completely rotten out. So it's a common situation on most all the buildings that have the chimneys. That's why I wanted to try the hardy backer siding on the chimneys on 32. Hopefully, it may alleviate the problem. That hardy backer board will be up there when I'm dead. It's not gonna rot. Hopefully, it won't get any leaks. And so something like that is gonna preserve the maintenance for years to come, that we won't have to be constantly rot and repair. That's all that's been going on here for years. And just little piecemeal things like, literally I saw on building 8, for example, I just had building, I don't know, you people maybe don't walk around to each and every building in here like I do. I've literally been to every single building, looked at each side of the building, every single part that I can see on the buildings. Building 8 was horrendous. I mean, one unit up there, it was worse than the Addams family. The siding was literally peeling off like paper. I mean, it wasn't even on there. The electrical meters were completely detached from the wall, just kind of hanging in the air. And that creates a dangerous situation. So they finished all the siding on that building. It wasn't even really that expensive. It was about less than $5,000 that I corrected all the siding on that building. I don't know why. Why couldn't this have been done earlier? I don't have the answers to those questions.
Is anybody asking those questions at this point? Last year, we addressed everything that happened in the past. Like Larry said, fresh start, we're moving forward. So who's asking the questions?
It's great that we want to have a fresh start and move forward. But the reality is, I can't really move forward because we have no money. The money was just, where did it go? It didn't go into the buildings.
That's the current situation that we have.
Right.
Moving forward.
Exactly.
Here's my question. So it used to be that the homes that were for sale were priority underneath emergencies. My neighbor's home, Leo, we all know and love Leo Johns, is now wherever he is, and my building hasn't been touched. How the fuck is he supposed to sell that house? Which then affects everybody else's bottom line, and when I go to sell my house, all that affects all of us.
Right.
So how come my building hasn't been touched? That's my question.
You're asking because his unit's for sale?
Yes.
Because there's no pending contract on it? When a unit goes for sale and it goes under contract, okay?
Okay.
When it goes under contract, normally the buyer has an inspection done.
Sure.
And they have what's called a WDO report.
Sure.
That would report the wood rot. Until I get one of those on whatever unit's for sale, I'm not really going over there.
Okay, but so here's my...
Leo, for example, if Leo's unit went for sale today and he's got a pending contract and I get a WDO report, then I need to take the contractor over and we've got to get a bid.
All right, I get all that. So here's my point though. The point is, the whole side of my building is green.
Yes.
Who wants to buy that? Who wants to buy it at the listed price? Who wants to go and move into there when everything's green? I hear where you're coming from. I get it, and I understand. But who wants to buy it when shit is green?
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Where's the money?
I'll buy it.
I'm not worried about it.
Megan, I'll buy it.
Good.
Well, we just need to.
119 is his asking price, so
Well,
that's what I think that we should get, because that's what I
I'll
Lower your price.
It's not my place for sale, but I'm talking about, ain't nobody gonna buy it, which then affects everybody sitting out here.
I agree.
You can say that about any home anywhere.
But his shit is for sale. People are coming to look at it. That woman is bringing people here every fucking day.
You don't even make one.
Listen.
My daughter looked at it just the other day. She didn't discount it because it's green. She discounted it because it's 2 bedrooms.
Look.
She's got a power washer. She could get the green off herself.
That's right.
Is that allowable by the board? Because I used to not be allowable.
Yeah, you can wash it. I pay to have it. Put it on low, not full force.
So now it's my job.
It's not
Be able to sell the neighbor's house, make sure that everybody's house
If you want
install
to.
at a decent price.
If you want to, because they don't have the money, is what they're trying to tell you. They don't have the money to go get the green off
But
everybody.
I have gotten 15 out of 40 buildings done in 3 months. If I had the money, I could do wash and paint every single building in this community
But
this year.
so homes
But I
for sale are
don't.
not priority any longer until there's a contract. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. You're correct.
Yeah, here's my take on all this crap I hear all the time. I will not relinquish my ownership rights and responsibilities to my property. You know, if you don't do it and it needs to be done, I'll take care of it myself. You got light bulbs out on the side of your building, batteries plus, $24, get one of those lights, get a ladder, stick it up, put it in, you're done.
Well, that's fine for you, you know, you can
Not all
do
of us
that.
can do that.
But the
Then hire
elderly
somebody.
people in here cannot do that for themselves. And they shouldn't be treated any differently than you.
I got a
They
question
only
about
have
that.
so much money, they can't do everything.
See that light right there on the side of the building?
Yes,
Whose responsibility is that?
it's the HOA.
I say it's the homeowner. The homeowner paid to put it up there, and the homeowner's electricity runs it.
They didn't,
board
the
is-
No,
HOA
some are and
paid to
some
put it up
aren't.
there.
The two on my building are mine. They're hooked up to my
That's what I'm
electricity.
saying.
They're mine and I've always taken care of them. But other ones belong to they're not hooked up to the
I suspect that-
person.
I
They're
suspect
hooked
that's
up
not
to
the
the
case.
Exactly.
big tree.
That's right.
So it depends on
Can you
who's
point one, can
paying
you
for
point
it.
to one for me?
Pardon?
Can you identify which ones we're talking about that are owned by the board?
The way I figured it out was it's marked on my breaker box. And I turned the light off and it went on.
Every single one on the side of the building was purchased by the homeowner and it runs off their electricity.
There's nothing in Bonnie's
I wanted
breaker
to know
box.
what's in
that
the
says
bad debt
it is,
allowance on
and
the
their neighbor
back.
doesn't have
The
any.
bad debt allowance,
Go
I
over to
believe,
Golden
are
Main
people
Circuit
who are
breaker
not
now.
paying their
That's
debt.
what I figured it was.
Okay, you know, we're going round and round on this, it's clear, you know, we're doing our best with the money we have available to pick the highest priority items. I said with our plan, if we follow through, everybody's building will be done in 2 years. We've only been here 4 months. We've done a whole lot in 4 months, and we'll continue to move forward, but we gotta do it in a financially responsible manner. You'll ask a question and the question and answer in a second, when Liz finishes. We gotta do things in a logical manner, okay? I mean, we can't fix everybody's problem today.
I have one question, Lisa, when you say 15 buildings are done,
Yeah.
the total number of buildings, what, is that cleaned and painted? What does that mean when you say 15 buildings?
About, well, now 16 buildings cleaned and painted.
Not reworked, not remodeled?
Three buildings have been completely resided, the entire building, including the dormer up on the top of these buildings. That's never been done, ever.
Okay. Well, okay. And then after that, of the remaining 12 buildings that have been cleaned and painted?
And one has been roofed. The building
Right.
32,
But have any of these buildings?
and I'll give you the idea of the cost.
Right.
Completely re-roofed. 3 chimneys, completely rebuilt, no patchwork, completely rebuilt from the pipe out. All of the siding, all of the wood, rotten wood on that building has been ripped off and replaced.
We're talking about the 3 buildings then.
I'm talking about building 32,
Okay, building.
next to building 33.
Okay.
It shows.
Right next to it.
And then after it was all re-sided, the painters went in, cleaned all the coquina, which if you didn't notice before, it was green and had moss growing on it. Cleaned all of the coquina, sealed it with a clear sealer, painted the entire building. It's gorgeous. Looks like the day it was built.
Okay.
$35,000.
35,000.
$70,000, right there.
Get that.
Okay, all right, $35,000. Okay, well, then we have 3 buildings that have been done for maybe, we don't have to worry about that for the next, what, 5, 6, 7 years, 10?
You won't have to worry about those 3 buildings for the next 10 or 15 years.
Okay, and then we've got one additional building that's just been worked, building 33? Or is that one of the 3 buildings?
32, 8 and 2 have been completely redone.
And 33 was being worked, had been finished.
Building what?
Building 33, is the building you just talked about?
32.
32, okay, so those are all done.
Oh, no, you did mention 33, it was pretty bad.
33 is in real bad shape.
Okay,
She did
building
mention
33.
And now that building 32 is all done, it looks extra bad.
How many buildings have you done assessments on at this point?
Every single one.
And you know everything that needs to be done on all these buildings at this point?
Well, there's certain things that you can't know until you open the door.
Underlying damage to the rot, wood rot,
Right.
structural damage and all that?
Right. I can only see what's on the outside of the building.
Could you,
Walk in the patio, look at the patio fence, inside.
Can't go on it.
Mr. Lightfoot, I've tried to explain to you
Now, wait a
that we
minute,
are
wait a
doing
minute,
the
let me finish. Let me
Okay,
finish.
all right, go ahead.
The 1st of March, I wrote a letter
Yep.
asking why the inside of my patio was not. And you come over earlier and said, when they did your balcony, they missed a lot. You agree? Because I can get your wood man, I can get your carpenter to come and tell you, you said that. One,
That they missed on my balcony?
on my, no,
Oh,
your
on your
balcony's
balcony.
perfect. Everything in building 2's been done. I'm talking about my building, building 4. Nothing been done on my building in approximately 18 years. I have the record.
Not according to them.
Well, I don't give a damn what your record say, I'm giving you mine. But I asked you first.
They spent money on
You painted the outside of the building, you did a good job, I'm not arguing with that. I asked, why didn't you paint the inside of the building, stain it?
On the
And
inside of the fence.
Inside of the patio. Let me finish. You said it's the homeowner's responsibility.
Okay.
And I said, read the covenants and restrictions. It says it's the homeowner's responsibility. It took me 45 days. I got an answer today from you
Right.
that said, well, there's a lot of hee-hawing about who's responsible and who ain't, but I'm thinking about redoing it. You know, you paint the outside of the building so when people drive in and look at it, the complex looks good. I'll be the first one to admit that.
Cosmetic.
But some of us leave our doors open. And you open your door to your gate, and it looks like you know what. And get out and shake your head all you want, but I heard
That's right.
about the same thing previously.
All right, let's just hold on, let me address what he's talking about. What I had said to you went a couple of months earlier about, well, somebody had told me, and I believe somebody on the board said, that's the homeowner's responsibility on the inside. Just what Mr., I'm sorry, what's your name over there in the red shirt?
Mark.
What we were talking about, the lights, whose responsibility is that? We've got so many little things in here that we don't even, there's apparently a discrepancy, and we don't understand whose responsibility it is, and we've got a committee trying
Read
to
the
nail
covenants and
down.
restrictions, that lays it out.
Okay,
Come on.
let me try to finish.
gotta move
We've got a
on.
committee who's trying to put a precise list together. These are the homeowner responsibilities. These are the HOA responsibilities. Because guess what? Those restrictions are as vague as you can get.
Okay.
So, again, I just want to say, I contracted the painters at this time to address the outside of the buildings only because we have such limited funding. When we can get to a better place with our funds, we can go back and start getting into smaller details, going in the inside of people's patios and painting the insides of the fence. There's all kind of things that we need to address. We just can't do everything this year.
Okay, now time to move on. We're gonna have a question and answer.
Who did the street lights about 3 weeks ago? What
American
company?
Electric.
Who?
American Electric.
American Electric. My light was working perfectly. Now it stays on 24 hours a day. The next one down was working perfectly. Now it doesn't work at all. So who's gonna call them saying, hey, look, you did lousy work, you gotta come back and fix it? Because you paid the money for it, they better fix it. And what is this big pile of wood in the boatyard? I mean, it's a 10-foot pile of rotted wood.
It's
Where's
called
the
Cedar
dumpster?
Mountain. It's gonna go away in a little bit.
Yeah, right, some kid comes in and starts a bonfire, that'd be really good.
Well, you know what, no kids should be over in the
And
boatyard.
who put the lock on the gate on the outside?
Well, I agree.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Anyway, moving right along, we're gonna talk about
Have you bought a
landscaping and grounds.
Okay, the guy's been doing a great job. I did have a couple requests over email, and I have answered them today. I went out with the guys personally and got them to clean up 2 full areas, one up front. As you're coming in to your left, you will notice it by that little shack there that they call a tool shed or whatever. They cleaned up all of that today. They also are blowing the leaves back onto the dirt part. I told them not to blow them up so far and showing the dirt and the roots. So we're bringing it back down. I stood out there and watched every one of them today to make sure they were doing that completely all the way around the subdivision. So you will not be seeing the dirt anymore as much leaves. The leaves have fallen, they're done. So what we do have left, I'm not letting them mulch them down. I'm letting them put them back to the areas that they need to be in. And they will only mow where we need to be mowed. So, thank you. So, we are also up front, in the front of the subdivision, the second little hill there that has these variegated grass looking things on, we're gonna take those out, till that up, clean it up real good, bring it down just a little bit, and we're gonna put Laura pellets in there to give the community a little color.
Yeah.
The green and brown is really just killing me.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Is the HOA paying for that?
No, I am, which I paid for the paint the sign, I paid for the paint the top of the sign. I also paid for the flowers that goes into the planter, and I paid for anything that I painted on the outside. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you for moving forward, Liz.
You're welcome. So, if there is any, people have been emailing me, and as soon as I get that email, I email them back as soon as possible, and I tell them as soon as the guys get here, I get out on the ground first thing when they pull up in the morning. I take Scott in my car, I drive him around, and I say this, and this. That needs to be done. I will come back and I will recheck your work. If it's not like I like it, you're gonna do it again, okay? So the landscapers are doing a great job. They are, and I can honestly tell you this, I have talked to a lot of landscapers in different subdivisions where I've worked in, and nobody's gonna come in here and do what these guys do for the amount of money they do. It's not gonna happen, okay? Because I can ask them, come clean this area right here, do this, and this, okay? And they go do it, okay? A lot of times I'm out there with them. But just remember, if there's anything that's wrong, like some of the bushes that were in front of the house, Miss Beaver had a bunch of fern over there that I found 2 possums, some rats, and snakes, and everything. Took all that down, made that a rough area. Pine trees all at the top of it. So it wasn't gonna stay, it was just a nest. She's very happy with that, and cleaned it out, she goes up her sidewalk that way, and rats and snakes are not in it.
You have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you be amenable to the idea of putting a big bougainvillea in the front planter? I've just been dying to buy one to put in that planter, because I think it gets enough sun. You haven't put anything in that front planter, and
Yeah,
I didn't know
I'm
if you
getting ready
had something
to.
in your mind.
Well,
but
yeah, I'm getting ready to, but
I would love to plant something that hangs and blooms.
I would love to do that, but a bougainvillea has thorns.
Yeah, but who touches, who gets up there and touches
Oh, I do.
it?
Because I clean that planter out, and I trim the plants up there and everything. Think of something else. If you can think of something
No,
else.
that's okay. You can
Yeah.
come up with something. I just thought,
Yeah.
I thought that because it's
No, I love
gorgeous,
them.
it blooms all the time, and
I love
it's fabulous.
bougainvilleas. They're
And
the
it
most
cover
beautiful
up the
plant.
whole, I mean,
Hey, Liz.
it looks
Yeah.
good.
I'll buy you a box of Band-Aids, let her put it in there.
Hey, did you buy a place? Have you bought a place, or are you still a renter?
Which one?
Still around.
You're still a renter? I thought maybe you bought the place, because I didn't think you could.
Oh, yes, I can.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a letter from that homeowner saying,
Oh, okay, I didn't know that, okay.
Mary, did you hear that? Amanda Villa?
Amandaville.
Yeah, she said, it's just like the bougainvillea, but it doesn't have thorns.
Oh, okay, well, find one.
Yeah.
I mean, do they have them with the bougainvillea?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There goes any place.
I frequent a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
nurseries
Oh, are
around the
they as
area.
pretty? Are
Well,
they
you got
really as
one.
pretty?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look
If
for
you
one.
have one, but
Look for that. The only thing is, it grows up over the sign, we're gonna have to keep it trimmed.
No, they hang.
You want it to hang?
Well, because the bougainvilleas normally hang.
Yeah.
Because they're heavy. I mean, I don't think it'll go up on that.
Okay.
Or we'll just cut
Okay,
it.
we'll just trim it and keep it up.
Yeah, I'll let you take care of it. I just wanted to buy it because I got tired of looking at nothing in that thing.
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We just had a mosquito treatment on our house because my wife's worrying about the mosquitoes eating and all that kind of stuff. And he said that the azalea was a particular plant that would attract mosquitoes. They feed off that plant
Right?
a lot. I'm sure you know about that.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
He went over our azaleas with with something with a base in it. And I have to tell you, it was garlic. I don't know why. You might laugh at me.
Yeah.
But he said that is a mosquito deterrent, you know, he did that.
And the garlic?
Garlic.
Yeah.
He
Well, you
had
know,
the
there are garlic
base.
plants too. There's garlic plants that you can put around if you want to smell that. There are garlic plants that you can put in the ground that actually smell like garlic. And they flower.
And would detract those mosquitoes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're aware of that. I just thought I'd say.
This is for Larry. Larry, do you plan to tell us why the meeting was canceled last week?
I already did.
What did you say? I missed it.
Look, watch the video, Carol.
I don't have to watch the video.
I said that because we had some important things to review and vote on, we wanted all 3 board members.
Oh, I thought it would be more dramatic than that. I heard you say that. I thought it would be more dramatic.
It probably really is.
It probably was, but you just don't want to say.
There's a conspiracy. I don't want to tell you the truth.
Carol?
You got it.
I'm open. I had an emergency call at the hospital. 3 people were called out sick.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's a conspiracy too.
Had to go to work.
You got it.
Anyways, bottom line, I hope somebody either wins the Powerball and donates it all to the association, or we can move the
Yeah,
calendar
right.
ahead 2 years so we
Yeah,
have the
right.
work done.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's a process. We can't do everything now. And I know
I have
people
one
are
more question
unhappy.
for you, Larry. Does this mean, this new decision, does this mean that we lose all of Lisa's contractors that have done such great work in here?
No, we want to use the contractors.
Are you sure you're gonna keep those guys?
We want to use the best contractors we can.
Okay.
The best open bid.
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
Why does she talk so loud?
Contractors come from?
She must be deafening you.
Right, you? Yeah. Okay, he didn't hire me.
Lisa's really getting a kickback. It's all a conspiracy. It's all,
Yeah,
hey.
let's not joke.
I don't think anybody's getting a kickback.
No.
But it's important when we have major contract come up to make sure we're getting the best price.
Yeah, I just don't
make
wanna
sure
go
we get the
back
best
to what
quality.
we've done in the past. That's all.
If the contractors are
You
doing.
mean when Leo was president?
Anybody.
There's no
Leo.
conflict of interest. I'm
She's got
not
all new
sleeping with
guys
any
and
of
they're great.
Okay. And let's clear that up while we're talking, okay? I had someone in the subdivision send out an email on me last year saying that I was sleeping with the contractors, that I was, let me see what was it, Larry? How was it stated?
I don't know
That I
what I said about you,
was,
man.
I was giving, no, I gotta do this. Because this is ridiculous. Oh, well, I sent an attorney letter to those people, had my attorney send a letter and cease and desist. But let me tell you something, I'm nice to everybody, whether it's an old woman, old man, young man, old man, it doesn't matter. And just because you're nice to somebody, people think you're sleeping with them. Oh, come on, get a grip, okay? This is 2016. Get a life. And if people don't have more life than that, then they gotta go and talk behind somebody's back and send a little email here, a little email there. I don't even email unless it's on my phone, which I don't even have right now, don't care to have it. But if you got a problem with me, or you think I'm doing something, come to my face, because I don't have any problem answering any of your questions. Absolutely not at all, okay? So, if there's any problem in the future, or somebody's got this kind of little action going on, then let me know, because I would like to know too, since I wasn't there. So, all right, I gotta eat.
Bottom line, let's focus on a positive direction moving forward. We'll take care of emergencies. We can't take care of everybody's problem immediately, but we're gonna study everything that comes up and we're gonna let you know when we feel we'll be able to do it. It's the best we can do at this point in time. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.